Are you looking to keep your lab safe and secure? In this video, I'll be providing you with all the essential lab safety measures you need to know. From protective gear to safety protocols, learn how to keep your lab running smoothly and efficiently with these tips. I'll explain everything you need to know for a secure working environment. Don't miss out on this chance to make sure your laboratory is operating safely. Importance of lab safety. Laboratories are beset with safety hazards due to the chemicals and fragile equipment stored inside. Be familiar with lab safety procedures so you can prevent accidents and injuries. Lab safety tips for eyes. Make it a point to wear protective goggles, safety glasses, or full face shields to prevent eye injury because eyes are very sensitive to the many chemicals. Lab safety tip on clothing. Put on garments with long, tight sleeves. Wearing shorts, short skirts, sandals, baggy apparel, or jewelry that hangs loose is prohibited. Put on a lab coat with sleeves. To protect yourself from hot or caustic liquids, lab safety tip regarding food and drinks. No food and drink of any kind are allowed in the lab. Even things like gum or wrapped candy are prohibited as those may become contaminated. Storing food or beverages in chemical cabinets, refrigerators facilitate chemical absorption by vapor. Thus, chemical exposure takes place upon consuming food or beverages stored with chemicals. Therefore, eating or drinking in the lab is strictly forbidden. Lab safety tip on the use of Bunsen burner. Don't leave the burner on when it is not needed. When you turn it off, make sure that the gas valve is off, too. Lab safety tip on proper handling of chemicals. Read the label of chemicals before using it. Additionally, you should only measure the recommended amount of chemicals as indicated by experiment directions. Lab safety tip on the use of fire extinguishers. Know where the fire extinguisher is located. Listen to your instructor when they demonstrate how it's used so you know how to put out fires in case of emergency. Lab safety tip regarding response to emergencies or injuries. All injuries must be reported to the instructor, regardless of how minor or major it is. If you're in doubt about the severity of an injury, call security right away instead of attempting to move the victim. Here we discussed many conditions of incidents with their solutions. Watch the video till end. First, if the glass is broken in lab, either of test tube or beaker. Do not pick up broken glass with your fingers. Get a broom and dustpan. Sweep the broken glass into the dustpan and dump it into the specially marked containers provided in each lab. Secondly, is the case of small chemical spill. In that case, you should wipe up liquid spills with paper towels and dispose of them as your instructor suggests. Solids should be dissolved in water, if possible, and wiped up. Otherwise, sweep them up with a broom and a dustpan and dispose of them as your instructor suggests. In all cases, after the chemical spill has been wiped up, rinse the area with water to make sure that all residual chemicals have been removed. In case of large chemical spill, move away from the area of the spill. Warn the people around you loudly. Call your instructor. Let the expert handle the cleanup. In case of chemical splashes, first case is if chemical spill on your face with safety goggles on. If the goggles have protected your eyes, don't take your goggles off. Yell for help. Go to the nearest sink or eye wash station and rinse your face quickly with the goggles still on. Then remove the goggles and rinse your face again. Try to save eyes from flames of chemicals. Second case of splash is that if chemical spill on your face with goggles off. If this sort of accident happens, you may not be able to see well enough to go to the nearest sink or eye wash station on your own. Yell loudly for help and cooperate with anyone who comes to your aid. If large splash of chemical on your clothing or body, then quickly follow this procedure while continuously yelling for help. First, move away from the area where the spill occurred. You don't want to get more chemical on you. Second, call loudly for help and to warn others to stay away from the spill. Third, remove any contaminated clothing. Finally, take the safety shower. The treatment for chemical exposure is 15 minutes under cold running water, or as long as you can stand it. Cases of fire incidents. If the fire was in small, confined area, for instance, a small beaker full of alcohol has caught fire, find something you can use as a lid for the container. When the container is covered, the fire will quickly burn itself out. Call the instructor for help. In case of small open fire, if you have a small fire which is not in a container, move away from the fire and shout for help. You can use a fire extinguisher to put the fire out. If you ever need to use a fire extinguisher, remember the following: A. Pull the pin. B. Aim to the side at first. C. Depress the handle. D. Sweep the spray from side to side across the base of the fire, where the fire meets the fuel, not just at the flames. In case of large fire, shout for help and leave the area immediately. The fire alarm will probably sound. When it does, evacuate the building quickly, and tell everyone you can what the fire is. If unfortunately your clothing will be on fire, then don't run. It will only fan the flames and make the fire worse. Instead, you should stop moving, drop to the ground, and roll on the ground to squash out the flames. Yell continuously. We also have fire blankets in the laboratory for this purpose. Fire blankets can also be used to put out fires on equipment. Just drop the blanket on top of the fire. Finally, we discussing the measures we should take in case of injury first.